Welcome to summer worship with the Unitarian Universalist community of Charlotte. I'm Eve Stevens, and I'm one of the ministers serving this congregation. How do you come to be with us this morning? What set you off in search of spiritual community? Why have you glanced or hovered or committed to this spiritual community in particular? All of us taking part in this worship service right now have something in common. We've shared a restless energy, a hope-filled longing that compelled us very recently or long ago to seek out spiritual community, this spiritual community. Some of us have come reluctantly, perhaps saying to that small voice within, "Really? Organized religion?" Some of us have come reluctantly, remembering a spiritual community that asked us to not show up as our whole self. Reluctant or full of joyful anticipation, we find ourselves attending this worship service together. Today, our service is a celebration of those who, in the course of seeking spiritual community, have found a home here. Throughout the service, you'll meet many of our newest members, some of whom have never even set foot inside our building, have never shared an experience of worship here in this sanctuary, who discovered us instead in our current virtual form. Today, we'll hear from longtime and brand new members who came seeking and found here a community to hold them accountable as they stretch toward their better selves. A place where they could witness and make meaning of the seasons of life in community. A congregation that studies and challenges intersectional oppressions as a spiritual practice. Today, we'll hear from members who came seeking and have found a home in this spiritual community. We'll celebrate our newest members who make the commitment today in the company of us all to give generously of their time, energy, and resources, and to receive gratefully all that this congregation has to offer. Unitarian Universalist minister Victoria Safford writes, "It becomes a spiritual practice for each of us to ask, not once and for all, but again and again throughout our life, how do I decide which beautiful and imperfect institutions, and we might say communities, which beautiful and imperfect communities will carry and hold my name, hand, and heart? The life of the Spirit," Safford says, "is solitary, but our answers to these questions call us to speak, call us to live in the plural." Welcome. However you have come to be with us this morning, welcome. Your presence is a blessing for this community. Now I invite all of you to head to our public Facebook page, where you will see a good morning welcome post, and I invite you to greet one another in the comments below.
Hi, my name is Colton Snyder.
And I'm Caitlin Whiteman-Osman.
We light this chalice, symbol of our liberating faith, in celebration of the web of commitments that gives our spiritual community its vitality.
We give thanks for the ways in which these commitments to one another and to the work we share bring us more alive.
Good morning. I am Kelly Green, Membership Coordinator of UUCC. And if you are new, this might be the first place that you've ever seen me. This is our visitor table in the entranceway of our building. We are so glad that all of you are with us today. If you are new and want to learn more about us, how to get involved, or if you would like to become a member, I can help you. You can email me at kelley@uuccharlotte.org. If you are on our Facebook page, you can look for my comment, Kelly Green, and message me from there. If you are watching the live stream, you can look for the link above the box where the video is. There's a link for visitors, and you can contact me through that. I look forward to hearing from you.
How you doing? My name is Joe Hoff, and I moved to Charlotte just about 4 years ago, and I've been attending the UU community off and on. I officially joined in February. I look forward to learning more about the UU, as well as to getting to know all of you in the future. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Kendra.
I'm Dave. This is Eleanor.
I'm Desmond.
And together, we're the Dixons.
We're excited to be a part of this community.
Hi, my name is Susan Hill. I moved here in April from Pittsburgh. I retired about 5 years ago. I worked at a Catholic nursing home for about 25 years, did infection control and quality assurance. I have 2 daughters, one's still in Pittsburgh, and I have another daughter that lives here with I have 3 grandsons that are 5, 3, and 1.5. Look forward to meeting everybody and becoming part of this community. Thanks.
What is it to build community? I'm Jim Hall. My favorite definition is the feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals. I think that without a common creed, Unitarian Universalists get pretty good at this. And we do it around our 7 core principles. I'm one of the few here that was raised in the Unitarian tradition. I've been involved with the faith over the years in different moves, attending in Oak Park, Illinois, Cherry Hill, New Jersey, Long Valley, New Jersey, and now here in Charlotte. I've been a member of the UUCC since 2002, and I'm here because I found it liberal, accepting, affirming, and very welcoming. It's where I was counseled through the loss of divorce, where my 3 kids came of age, and where I met, courted, and married Barb.
And I'm Barbara Busey, and I've been a member of the UUCC for 25 years. And it's my first UU Faith home. The timing of being asked to share this story about our church community right now is pure serendipity. because at this moment, Jim and I are in the mountains and we are visiting my longtime friend, Terry, and her wife. Terry is the person who first introduced me to the UU faith. She was visiting me in Charlotte, this is back in the 90s, and asked if we could go to church. She specifically mentioned the Unitarian Universalist Church. I'd never heard of it. So I went to that first service, but I didn't get hooked until my second visit a few weeks later when Lloyd Dillon was the lay leader. And I will never forget his sermon. You may be a UU if. And as he recited all of this laundry list of qualities, I was checking them off in my head. Yep, that's me. I'm a UU. So I got very involved in our church, and as a result, it really solidified community for me. And probably the one thing that holds the warmest place in my heart is all the years I spent singing in the choir. Not just for the fabulous music we made, first under Dale's direction and then under John's, but it was a community of love and support for me. And of particular note, it was where I first met this guy. You know how your mother said, go to church, you'll meet a nice boy at church. Who knew? She was right. Jim and I started dating in 2008, and we got married on 10/10/10, surrounded by our UUCC community. And going full circle, in the ensuing years since she visited me, Terry went to seminary and was ordained as a UU minister. And she was the one who married us in the sanctuary where she first brought me all those years before.
Some of my more meaningful experiences at the UUCC have been working with other men and women to update the religious education and open door school offices with cabinetry and work desks. This led to a few years on the Building and Grounds Committee, working with our youth on our mission trips to Hartsville, South Carolina, where we built homes for Habitat for Humanity, and co-leading the OWL curriculum for our middle school and high school youth, hopefully empowering our kids to make better choices than I did. You know, we drink from wells we did not dig.
We sit in the shade of trees we did not plant.
None of us now watching helped to found the Unitarian Universalist community in Charlotte.
But we have all been affirmed and challenged and supported by this beloved community.
And that's what makes it worth our attention and our resources.
Hi everyone, my name is Fallon and I joined the UU community of Charlotte in February of this past year. I grew up Catholic and completed all my Catholic milestones, including baptism, First Communion, and confirmation. At that point, it really felt like my faith had been chosen for me. Not that I didn't feel connected to it, but that it wasn't something that I came to on my own. Later, I attended a small Christian college in Michigan, and it was there that I really explored my faith. It was also there that I realized that a lot of my beliefs didn't necessarily align with Christian principles. For example, I have strong beliefs about science, justice and equity, feminism, and accepting and celebrating all individuals. I began to feel angry and resentful of the Christian faith and felt like it was an exclusive community that you were either in or not in. After taking a few years to step back from the church and from religion, I decided that I really wanted to begin searching for something that felt like it really fit my beliefs and also challenged my beliefs. So in stumbling upon the Unitarian Universalist Church online one day, I immediately felt really connected to the guiding principles. When I came in person to the UU community in Charlotte for the first time, I found that the services were intellectually stimulating and justice-oriented. I thought the people were genuine, caring, and curious, and I thought the music was divine. Most importantly, though, I felt that this was a community that fostered growth and exploration, and I truly believe it's an environment in which when we're learning together and being together, we're becoming better people.
Hello everybody, my name's DeWitt Crosby and I've been a member since last winter sometime. What I love about UU, I think primarily are the values. I love the music in the service, and I love the service in general and all the work that the congregation does. And I look forward to seeing everybody in person.
Take 100. All right, hi, my name is Bailey Ridinger. This is Bonkers Ridinger, my 18-pound son. I joined the UUCC last November. I work for the Girl Scouts, and I'm also in the Charlotte Pride Band. I play percussion.
We would be one as now we join in singing our hymn of love to pledge ourselves anew to that high cause of greater understanding of who we are and what in us is true. We would be one in living for each other to show to all a new community. We would be one in building for tomorrow a nobler world than we have known today. We would be one in searching for that meaning which binds our hearts and points us on our way. That's what we pledge ourselves to greater service. With love and justice strive to make us free.
Hi, I'm Bryce Nielsen.
And I'm Alex Nielsen. And I'm Leon Nielsen.
And we've been part of the UU community for the last couple of years. In that time, I've started serving on the middle school youth group team as well as the family ministry team. And when we meet in person, I serve coffee on Sundays. We look forward to a time when we'll get to meet in person again.
Hello, my name is Janet Israelski. My husband Mark and I moved to the Charlotte area at the end of last year to be near children. An unexpected gift of moving to this area was discovering UUCC. I am happy to become a member, and I look forward to being more involved with the community in the future. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Susan Cox. I grew up in the Bible Belt South, but was unchurched. That was not done in my childhood era, but we did it, and I never felt a need or much value for church. I loved my work and colleagues and was very engaged in our school. I had close friends and family literally up the street. There was no gap in my life. But when Ashley, my now 34-year-old daughter, was 8, I began thinking that if I wanted to stay in the running for Mother of the Year, I needed to at least provide her with some religious or spiritual literacy. I realize this is less than a ringing endorsement, but my thought at that time was that I could probably tolerate church at the UUCC. But barely. Being a fairly decisive person, only 2 weeks passed between the time I decided we needed to do something and our first visit here. Several decades ago, I was semi-regularly driving back and forth between New Orleans and Charlotte. I remember often being quite nervous driving through Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, South Carolina, with the bumper stickers on my car, and often in the dark. But as Ashley and I walked through the church parking lot that morning, I was almost in tears reading the bumper stickers. I immediately knew I could do more than tolerate this community. I belonged here. These were my people. Keeping in mind that I am a fairly decisive person, I joined the second time I visited the church. I never looked back. But I quickly learned that joining does not by itself create community. I had to get involved in the multiple opportunities, social, educational, service-oriented, to really connect. I had to commit financially in a meaningful way, a new experience since I had never supported a church before. That was 26 years ago. Probably 15 years ago, it suddenly hit me that virtually all of my closest friends, with few exceptions, were here. This has become the center of my social life, my volunteer work, my activism, and much of my personal and spiritual growth. You are indeed my people. I am a better person because of my involvement in this community. While it can be challenging, I like most of the time that I am pushed out of my comfort level. I'm not allowed to live an unexamined life. I live more fully and more deeply because of all of you and the example and leadership of our staff. I am so grateful I came here for Ashley and stayed for me.
Hey everybody, we are
Sabina
and Randolph, and we're thrilled to be recording this video, or to have been asked to record this video, introducing ourselves as new members of the UUCC and to share a little bit about what brought us here. So really, I would say brought us here a lot of the same things that brought Sabina and I together, which are some shared values that we had found. Both of us grew up not very religious, but we've lived in a lot of places and a lot of different cultures and communities, and we came across some of the same values, values like diversity, inclusive community, spiritual connectedness, and so those things seem to be in line with the UUC, which we discovered actually for the first time in Montrose, New York. We were living together and had a conversation one night that we'd both noticed a building in our town that flew the LGBTQ plus flags as well as the Black Lives Matter flag. I thought it had been a community center. Sabina pointed out it was a church, which was very surprising. So that's when the UUC first popped up on our map. And then we moved to Charlotte, and Sabina kind of drove the bus on that, so I'll let her share about that a little bit.
So we really took moving to Charlotte as a chance to reprioritize how we were allocating our time and our energy and kind of think really carefully about the life we wanted to craft as a family moving forward. And we knew that a big part of that, we wanted to have spiritual practices and hopefully spiritual community that we could be involved with. That was part of a lot of ongoing conversations as we settled into our life in Charlotte. But then COVID and quarantine happened, and I think that sort of sped up perhaps some of our decision making and led to some more reprioritization personally and professionally for each of us. And we found ourselves with the space and the time and the energy to really commit to finding a spiritual community. And I had never stopped thinking about the UUC community in Montrose that we had seen and the research I had done, what I had learned about UUC at that time. And so I looked up the Unitarian Universalist community of Charlotte, and we decided to watch a service. And I'll never forget, we were lying on our bed, and I was pretty nervous because I'm not always the most comfortable in like organized spiritual situations. But we decided to watch, and we each had several moments where we got so excited because we heard something that really resonated with us. We would squeeze each other's hand or look over, just knowing that one of the two of us or both of us had heard something that was really integral to the lives that we want to build. And by the end of that service, we knew we wanted to be part of this community because of not only the spiritual connectedness, the sense of community that was so clear, but also because of the handling of issues like COVID and how it's affected members of the Charlotte and the North Carolina communities because of conversations about race and socioeconomic inequality and social justice were handled throughout not just that service, but every service we've watched since. And we are just so excited and so grateful to have found this community.
Yeah. So, with all that said, obviously we would prefer to meet all of you in person. However, we are very, very grateful to how welcomed we've already felt by this community, especially by Eve, Jay, and Kelly, who have reached out to us numerous times. And so, I guess that's about it. Can't wait to get to know all of you, and thank you very much for welcoming us as part of the community. Bye.
My name is Debbie Marr. My husband and I moved to Charlotte a year and a half ago, chasing after our grandchildren. I enjoy singing, and I plan to be part of the choir. I'm a retired occupational therapist. I enjoy babysitting, golfing, sewing, and crochet.
Hi, I'm Colton Snyder.
And I'm Caitlin Whiteman-Osman.
We joined the UU for its commitment to social justice, community engagement, and spiritual connection.
We love dancing, playing board games, watching TV, and going on walks with our dog, Teddy.
Oh, hey!
You've already met Kelly and me, but in case you got up for a cup of coffee and missed it, I'm Eve Stevens, one of the ministers serving this Unitarian Universalist community of Charlotte.
And I am Kelly Green, our congregation's membership coordinator. If we had been able to gather in person in our sanctuary, our newest members would come forward and stand in front of the congregation to participate in a communal welcoming ceremony where we give and receive blessings for our shared future together. So today, we asked members of our Board of Trustees and our membership team to represent our congregation as a whole as we share in the same ritual virtually.
All of you joining at home in this service, I invite you in a moment as we welcome our new members and celebrate this commitment that we are making to one another. I invite you to hold your hands over your heart and send your warmest welcome and well wishes. From a variety of places, an extensive array of circumstances, a wide range of religious traditions, our paths now meet here in the Unitarian Universalist community of Charlotte. Today, we celebrate these who have recently found their ways to us and have become ones of us.
We welcome with delight those of you who are new to this congregation.
May you find here inspiration for your individual journeys.
Support in times of trouble, encouragement in moments of despair.
May you find here fellow celebrants in your occasion of joy and the ongoing challenge to be your best selves.
May you give of yourselves, your time, energy, resources, and wisdom, that together we may sustain and strengthen this, our spiritual community.
We accept your welcome with gratitude and gladly join our lives with yours.
As we have been the beneficiaries of the community you have created, we commit to partner with you in energetic and generous support of our congregation.
We will strive to believe the best about our congregation and to offer our best to it.
May our journey together be long and fruitful.
Let us now say together the mission of our congregation.
By our liberating faith,
we discover a deeper spiritual meaning,
nurture loving community,
cultivate courageous connections,
and partner in the work of justice.
There are always a variety of opportunities available each week to engage in the mission of this congregation. And I encourage you to subscribe to our weekly e-newsletter Currents to stay up to date. An important aspect of partnering in the work of justice is to take a deep dive to educate ourselves about the history of systemic injustice in our own country. It's our hope that the more we educate ourselves in this way, the more we will learn to follow the lead of those most affected by the oppressions we seek to dismantle in Charlotte. If you're ready to make a commitment to this kind of long-term unlearning and learning for the first time, or to continue the learning you've already started with us, I encourage you to sign up for a core group. I will be taking the lead on facilitating the Cultural Justice Core Group. We're going to be studying the experience of LGBTQ+ peoples, women, immigrants, and how religion has been utilized to foster injustice throughout our country's history. My colleague, Jay Leach, will take the lead facilitating the Economic Justice Core Group. They're going to be studying the role of property in creating and denying generational wealth, the long reach of slavery, and the ongoing struggle for a living wage. So you can see the e-blast that went out on Monday or Currents this week for more information about how to join a core group. We are holding our country and specifically the community of Kenosha, Wisconsin in our prayers this week. We pray for the recovery of Jacob Blake. We pray that those showing up in the streets will stay safe as they protest the broken methods of training and carrying out policing that play out across our country every day. Here in our own spiritual community, let us take a moment to send our love out to one another and commit again this week to send cards or emails, make phone calls, to just let other people in our congregation know, hey, I miss you, I'm thinking of you. Continue to reach out to one another. We hold in our hearts John and Mary Lee, as John's brother Richard is now in hospice care. We hold in our prayers Morty Rubel and his partner Shirley Lyons, as Morty is now in hospice care. We send our love to Bailey Reidinger, whose grandmother is in her last days of life. We hold in our hearts the family and friends of Betty Burns as they join us in mourning her death. And we hold in our hearts the family and friends of Irene Wilkinson and join them as they mourn Irene's death. We celebrate today our new members who were not able to take part in this service: Emily Wolfe, Sharon Welling, Nathan Hackenberg, and Rachel Ramsey. Welcome and thank you for your commitment.
Good morning. I'm John Burns, a member of this community and also a volunteer on the Stewardship Committee. I'd like to thank all of you whose financial contributions sustain our community and also share with you my thoughts on stewardship. Like many of you, I've been fortunate enough, through a combination of factors, that concerns such as, can I feed my family today, or will I have a roof over my head tonight, are not pressing issues. That gives me the luxury, and probably the obligation, of looking more broadly at the world and how I would like to help shape it. What becomes clearer to me is that sustainable change and progress come through collective action, when groups of people find a common cause or calling and move in that direction. While there are any number of worthy charities in the world asking for my support, and some appear to believe that a new letter every single month of the year is the way to get my support, I find more satisfaction in connecting to the goals mentally, emotionally, and physically. UUCC affords me that opportunity because here I can talk directly with people working for change, I can physically participate in that change, and I can be present as we see the impact of that change play out in the world. I ask you to join me during this time of instability and soul searching to consider what are the anchor points that give you faith and courage that we will see brighter days and a more just and loving world, and to support those as though perhaps your life depended on it. Or if not your life, maybe the life of someone you love, or maybe someone you don't yet know. Ashe, and thank you.
I invite you to breathe more deeply with me now in a time of meditation. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel the weight of your body in your chair. And breathe deeply together. I offer you these words adapted from Unitarian Universalist minister John Buren's. Blessed are those who yearn for deepening more than escape, who are not afraid to grow in spirit. Blessed are those who take seriously the bonds of community, joining in celebration and learning. Blessed are those who know that change is brought about through human meeting, who do the work and stay to the end. Blessed are those who know the work of spiritual community is the transformation of society, who have a vision of beloved community transcending the present, and who do not shrink from controversy, challenge, or change. Blessed are they indeed. Amen. And thank you for the commitments you make to this spiritual community. Following our closing music, you can join us at Virtual Coffee Hour for a chance to add your own personal welcome to our newest members, some of whom will be with us for Coffee Hour. You can find the link in Currents or on our public Facebook page. Go into your week knowing that you do not journey through this strange time alone. Be well until we're together again.